All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother, Elisha Israel, of the house of faith. And it's always a blessing each and every time that I can come before you to preach the word of God. Never do I count it as a light thing to do so. All right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to be extremely short today. But I just did want to get on here and answer a question the sister she sent me a while ago. I'm just getting to some of these questions about the head covering. Should a woman cover her head? She writes, let me just read it real quickly. She writes, Shalom, I am new to your channel and enjoy your teachings. I would like an understanding as to when and why should a woman cover her head. If there's already a video, could you please email me the link? Thank you. Okay, so I'll just deal with this briefly. So should a woman cover her head? Well, the Bible tells you clearly that a woman should cover her head, and it's written in 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and it reads as follows. In verse 5, 1 Corinthians 11:5, but every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. Okay, so should you cover your head? Yes. Now, one thing should be noted is that Paul in these epistles is addressing various things that are going on in these congregations. You see pagan influences within these congregations. Okay, so because you see pagan influences in these congregations, they had particular customs that they did and were bringing some of these into the church. It is only logical that people who have been doing things their entire lives, and that's their culture, and they've been indoctrinated and acculturated in a certain way of life, that they would engage in certain things, okay, that were antithetical. All right, so that's going on, and a lot of times that's what he's addressing. They're used to specific behavior. That's what he is addressing. But he tells you, so she said, when should you cover your head? Well, he tells you real quick. He said, but every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. So you praying or prophesying, you need to have your head covered, okay? And understanding the Israelite culture, you can gather from different verses indirectly that having a veil, having their heads covered is something they did. Women did all the time, similar to what's done in the Arab world today. Okay, now it says why. One thing Paul is doing here is he is establishing Christian, or let me say this, he's establishing order in the church. Okay, in these congregations of these congregations that are established in these various places, like in Corinth. So we know this because he says it here. He says in verse 3, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. So he's setting up, he's showing you order. So you have the Father, the Son, you have man, then you have woman. That is the order. I know it's all mixed up today, right? You look in our communities in particular, and you have women who are ruling the communities. You even go to churches, you have women who are heads of congregations, which is totally wrong, totally antithetical to the scriptures, because he has order. And again, the order is the Father, Son, man, and woman. So he says, every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. So now it seems, well, it's not seems, but again, it seems that he may be addressing certain things that were going on in the congregation, and then he's establishing order by telling you this. So this is about order. Okay, he says, but every man praying or prophesying, having his head uncovered, dishonoreth his head. Okay, so order in the congregation. This is why, like for example, we open up, and first thing we ask is we open up for prayer. Brothers, uncover your heads. Sisters, please cover your heads, because of this right here. He says, for if the woman be not, he says, but every woman, verse 5, but every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. Okay, for if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. So if you don't have Hair covered, let her be short, her head shaved. But if it be a shame for a woman to be short and shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, and then he tells you why. He says a man shouldn't have his head covered. He says, for as much as he is the image and the glory of God, the woman is the glory of the man, because she was taken from man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. One thing about this is that the order, it's a divine order that has been set up by God that most people just disregard. But the order is divine. Even when you look amongst just human beings, man, woman, child. This is the order. Okay? Man as the head of the household, spiritually the head of the household. Then you have woman up under that, and then you have, of course, child. Then it says, for this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. And there's a lot of different interpretations that people have and speculation about what that means. But the main thing I want to focus on and address is that when a woman is praying or prophesying, because the question specifically was when and where. So if you're praying or prophesying, you should have your head covered if you're a woman. You know, and quite frankly, now this is when you look at cultures, and when you look at amongst a lot of Israelites, the women would have their head covered all the time. Because if you think about it, you praying or prophesying, you know, you want to have your head covered. So how often are you doing that? How often are you in prayer? But it was culturally, it was something that, again, if you read the Bible, that the women had their head covered all the time. So that's an answer to the sister's question. I want to remind you, like I said, I'm gonna be short today. I want to remind you that we at the House of the Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. We invite you to come out and worship with us, where you can hear the uncut, unadulterated Word of God. Brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you were edified.